So with me finally reaching 150 platinums, whether they time consuming, luck based and all the other ones in between, the question I have for today is, what is the hardest game I've ever done? And to answer that question, I'm going to take all my platinums and place it into a tier list and to find out where each one goes. Now a quick side note, even though I did earn a total of 150 platinums, there will not be a total of 150 platinums in this very video. And the only reason why is because I'm going to be removing some of the duplicated trophies which I earned on PS4 or PS5. I'd rather just highlight one game from one platform. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have your snacks? Alright, let's get started. A Plague Tale Innocence. Yeah, it's a pretty easy game. Pretty standard game. It's like, it's a story game, but it's a very basic ass story game. Again, I don't want to go into depth about every single game because otherwise this video is going to be forever. But it is a very easy game with an easy platinum. A Way Out. This one can be challenging because obviously you need a partner. It's a co-op game, so you need a partner. So if you have someone who doesn't really care for trophies, you kind of inconvenience them. So if you're playing with someone who knows you're a trophy hunter or they also a trophy hunter, it might be extremely easy or it might be novice. Ape Escape. Ape Escape is obviously gonna be sitting there. I want to do all the Ape Escapes at some point. I think all the Ape Escapes are now available on PS5. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, Ape Escape, it's a classic PS1 game. I would put it in fact, Ape Escape is definitely way more challenging. It's not like the hardest thing in the world, but it is a bit more casual than the other two games, because it can be a bit of a, you know what, I will put it there. Assassin's Creed 2, you know what, I think Ape Escape is in the perfect spot because Assassin's Creed 2 will go into casual. Even though Assassin's Creed is one of the easiest games like ever. A lot of people got Assassin's Creed 2 back in the day. The only thing of what stopped people from getting the platinum to Assassin's Creed 2 was the feathers, which is the collectibles, and there's an absolute stupid amount of collectibles in this game, and obviously the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. So, but Assassin's Creed is pretty easy, but it's not novice and it's clearly not beginner. But anyway, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, this is literally the same thing as Assassin's Creed 2. Similar trophies, similar collections, etc, but it also goes in the same category. Assassin's Creed Revelation, you know, I should probably just put all the Assassin's Creed here because they're pretty like similar. Like Revelations, it's the same. Assassin's Creed 3, to be honest, I'll actually put it up here because it's a quiet titan. It's a bit, man, I can't get my words out. It's way more time consuming. It's way, you have to be even more committed, especially if you compare Assassin's Creed 2, how very simplistic the game design is, where Assassin's Creed 3, where there was way more mechanics to like the mini games, to like the boat stuff, you know, the infamous like black flag sails and stuff like that. Yeah, the boat mechanics kind of started from Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed Liberation is also a really easy one. In fact, that was a PlayStation Vita game, but it was remastered with Assassin's Creed 3. If you bought like the remastered of Assassin's Creed 3, you get Liberation. I'll put Liberation here because it is probably easy, and it's obviously a shorter, smaller game because it was a PS Vita game at one point. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's obviously gonna go there. Well, in fact, it will probably go like in front. Hold on, wait. There we go, it will probably go in front of Assassin's Creed 3. But I think this is a very appropriate spot for the game to, well, sit in because it's a pretty time consuming game. And I did complete this game, obviously before YouTube, but I did complete this game and I did all the DLCs, so it is a pretty long ass game. I've yet to do Assassin's Creed Valhalla and I want to do that at some point. Astrobot, yeah, this is pretty easy. This is the one that came with your PS5. This is not the Astrobot, the new one, the Game of the Year game. It's not that one. This is just the PS5 version. Pretty easy. I think most people should have this platinum if you have a PS5. Even if you're not into platinums, it's a really easy game. Basically, you just have to finish the game, from what I remember. Maybe there's some few things that you have to guard your way to actually complete. But Astrobot, yeah, it sits there comfortably. Batman Arkham Asylum. I think this goes into... We'll go there. It's not as grindy, as tedious as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but you also have to be pretty committed because it can get pretty challenging. I would put it here. I don't think it's that difficult that it deserves the legendary status in terms of the platinum difficulty. It is an absolute legendary game, don't get me wrong, but it's in terms of the platinum difficulty, it probably sits over there in the quiet Titan region, which is kind of appropriate because there's a lot of enemies called the Titans anyway, so I think it's pretty appropriate to sit there. Batman Arkham City. This is definitely way more challenging, especially if you want to get the full 100%, that is like getting all the DLCs or whatever. Definitely way harder than Batman Arkham Asylum, for sure. Obviously, I'm kind of rating it as the 100%, not actually the platinum. The platinum itself would be in line with like Asylum. Arkham Knight, I think Arkham Knight is definitely the easiest one, if you were to go for the 100%, Arkham Knight would obviously go here, in my opinion, because of that one DLC trophy where you have to like fight Killer Croc, but you have to get to 1,000,000 points in order to call out Killer Croc. But unfortunately, I'm obviously rating based on the platinum itself. Otherwise, this trophy list will be all over the place on how to juggle the the DLC, on my thoughts on the DLC. I wouldn't mind mentioning it, like in this case, but in terms of only the platinum, if you're only focusing on getting the platinum, it's actually pretty easy. In fact, I would say it's probably easier than Assassin's Creed 3. This is Batman the Telltale series. It's not that bad, but it's a Telltale game. It's a pretty easy game. All you have to do is just play the game. It doesn't matter what choices you make. You just play the game start to finish and you get your platinum. Battlefield 3. Yeah, this game, it's not the hardest thing in the world. Time consuming, sure, but it's not the hardest thing in the world, especially if you're only focusing on the main trophy list and not the DLC. Beyond Two Souls, yeah, this is the story-based game with like choices and stuff like that. Very similar to like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. Well, that's Beyond Two Souls. I'm already talking about it. Detroit Become Human, stuff like that, where you have like choices and stuff like that, and you have different endings. But this game is not that difficult. It can be a bit tedious, especially when you make your first playthrough and now you want to clean up. The annoying thing about these kind of games is that you cannot skip cutscenes, and these kind of games are cutscene heavy. Blades of Time. So I started a series where I played this game, and the series basically entailed where I'm trying to find all like really like forgotten PS3 games as I possibly could and try to platinum them, and this game is one of them. Now obviously, by the way, about that series, it's not forgotten. I still remember it. Obviously I moved, so as you can see, brand new background, and this game is basically like a Devil May Cry clone that has just been forgotten in time, and it's a pretty easy game to say the least. It's not as difficult as Devil May Cry itself, but it is a fun game. Kind of gets repetitive near the end of the game because it gets BugSnax. Yeah, everyone's the most mysterious game when it came out. In fact, this game has a weird dark side to it, because you think about this cute cuddly game about these little teddy bear looking characters eating food and turning into the food they eat, but there's some weird dark twist in this game which I won't spoil. But if you haven't played it, just know that it's a kid's game, so I'm not saying it's all of a sudden it's gonna turn into like Amnesia or something. It's a pretty interesting game to say the least. It's not a difficult game. It will go right there. Yeah. Bully, Canis Canum Edit in some countries, but also known as Bully. Yeah, this is a Rockstar game. I'm dying for Rockstar to goddamn make a sequel to this game, but they still won't make a sequel because I played this game back in 2006 when it actually came out on the PlayStation 2. Rockstar just doesn't make sequels to the games that I want, like Bully 2 and like Midnight Club. Guess we'll never see sequels to those games. But anyway, this game, also not a difficult game. In order to get the platinum, you obviously gotta use your brain a little bit, so it's not like, Astrobot level. You gotta think a little bit. Burnout Paradise, we need more Burnout games. Whether it's a new game, an old game, remaster, remake, Burnout Paradise is the only one we have on modern platforms, which is very annoying. But anyway, Burnout Paradise, yeah, you're gonna need a bit more brain power to use compared to getting it. I need to get to 100%. I don't have it yet, but I only have the platinum. I do have a few DLC trophies, but I don't have the full 100%. But Burnout can be a bit of an annoyance. In fact, is it that annoying? In fact, I'll put it over here. It's like on top of casual, kind of borderline over here. Conan Exiles. This can be a very easy game, or it can be a pretty difficult game. Well, it's not like that difficult, maybe like here. Because if you can do things legit, it can be about here. In fact, it will be about here. Yeah, it will be about here. This is Control. This is also a pretty easy game to platinum. I need to do the PS5 version of this game. I only have the PS4 version, but I also want to do the DLC. But yeah, Control, pretty easy game. In fact, this game is so easy that you can actually go into the accessibility option and toggle all enemies die on one hit or something like that, or have infinite ammo. And it's basically like a cheat code, but instead of typical cheat codes, it does not disable your trophies. But this game is one of those games where it's trying to explain what the universe is like to a coughing baby. So yeah, it's a pretty complex game, to be honest. Cyberpunk 2077. I love this game so much, man. I put a absolutely unhealthy amount of time into Cyberpunk 2077. I love this game so much, man. It's definitely way more brain power than Assassin's Creed 2. Again, I need to rearrange all these games, because obviously if I look at this, Assassin's Creed 2 is probably like over here and this is like here. I'll rearrange it once I get through it, because right now it doesn't look very fitting. Anyway, Cyberpunk 2077, I put absolutely a stupid amount of time across multiple platforms. I put over 200 hours in the PS4 version alone, but I did get the platinum to the PS4 and the PS5 version. I platinumed the game on PS4. I feel like that's a very proud achievement. And yes, I did do the Phantom Liberty expansion, if you're just curious. I loved it as well. Days Gone, this is such a goofy game in my opinion. I really like Days Gone, don't get it twisted, but it's one of those games where it takes itself so seriously and it ends up being a bit funny, you know. I mean, the character, his name is Deacon St. John, like, you know, it's like the most like serious, non-serious kind of character, but I do like the world that they set up, and it's definitely like about I mean, yeah, it depends on how you play Cyberpunk. It's probably about there, but it's a zombie game, and it's all about like this hordes of zombies like piling up, and it was pretty impressive that they got it on PS4 in the first place with that visual fidelity. This is a very good looking game. It's just the story was, I mean, I wasn't really into the story in my opinion. This is, what the hell is this? This is Dead Island. Dead Island, I'm definitely gonna come back to the other games, but this game, it's actually pretty fun, man. I'll put it like in between like the Assassin's Creed games. It's not the hardest thing in the world. In fact, it's like there. Deadpool is pretty easy. Yeah, there's a lot of easy games. I just realized I played a lot of easy games. To be honest, I played a lot of like good balance of games, man. I don't just stick to easy games or just hard games. You know, I'm pretty cultured in my video game catalog, to be honest, you know. Anyway, Deadpool. Oh man, I would love to see a new Deadpool game with Nolan North, because after playing Marvel vs. Capcom, Nolan North did the voice for Deadpool in that game, and Deadpool also is in Marvel's Midnight Sun, which I need to play, by the way. And Nolan North also voices Deadpool in that game, which means Nolan North is clearly the guy for Deadpool in the video game space. But Deadpool's trophy, it's probably around here. It's not that difficult. There's maybe like 1 or 2 frustrating trophies here and there. In fact, it's probably like, yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate. Death Stranding. I might be the only person in the goddamn world that actually likes Death Stranding, man. I swear everyone always hates this game. Anyway, Death Stranding, I would put is this the first legendary game, or do we put it here? I don't know. Let's put it up here for now. We might change it. It's not a difficult game. It's just a very time-consuming game, and it requires a lot of patience, especially when you get the platinum. This is, what the hell is this? Is this Ratchet and Clank? No, this is Destroy All Humans. I need to remember that this is all alphabetically. This is Destroy All Humans. This is like a collector's, well, not a collector's song, but it's more like your classic platformer sort of games where a lot of collectibles, a lot of like very basic, like, you know, mission structure, stuff like that. It's a really fun game to actually get through and play. This is also a pretty easy game. I'll put it in front of Black Flag. That is Black Flag. This is Brotherhood. This is Detroit Become... No, wait. Yeah, this is Detroit Become Human. This is basically like Beyond the Souls. It's pretty much the same thing. Choice-based games, you know, if you want to do your second playthrough, you know, that sort of thing. Can't skip cutscene. Basically the same thing what I have to say about Beyond the Souls. But this is very complex with all sort of choices that... yeah, you're definitely gonna make at least 2 or 3 playthroughs alone. More than Beyond Two Souls, that's for sure. Doom. So here we got obviously the Doom series like chilling right here, and I'm so happy I got all of them done. I know we have to do Doom the Dark Ages. It's not out yet as recording of this video, but we will be doing that when the game drops. But anyway, Doom. This is legendary. Doom 1. Not just the game itself, but the platinum, because I had to do it solo. In fact, that one in particular is it's unobtainable, because obviously they made a new one and they obviously delisted that one. This game is pretty challenging. It can be like probably here if you have a friend. The more friends you have, I assume the easier it is, but I did it solo because I don't really like to play with people. I like to do things on my own. Doom 2 is going to be godlike. Doom 2 is easily the hardest game I've played so far from what I'm talking right now. It's very similar to Doom 1, where, you know, the more players you have to help you with the co-op trophy, the easier it gets. But Doom 2, because I did it solo, it was significantly harder because of those new enemy types and stuff like that. Doom 3, this one is obviously misleading, because obviously according to PSN profiles they say this is a 9 out of 10. It's not, but I would say it's a quiet titan. It's probably like around here, because you have to do a few playthroughs. I think it's like 2 or 3 playthroughs, and then obviously you have to do the DLC. The DLC is not a separate trophy list. This version of the game that I played, the DLC trophies are included in the main trophy list, so you have to do the DLC in order to get the platinum. But it's not the hardest thing in the world. In fact, this might be one of the easiest platinums for Doom, and it'll probably go like maybe like a year. Doom 2016. This is one of the. This is definitely super easy. This is easy, especially compared to like the other Doom games. I'm not even gonna be talking about the DLC because obviously the DLC will probably bring it up higher. It'll stay in the same category if I have to talk about all the DLCs, but the platinum alone, it's probably gonna sit all the way down here because it's pretty easy. In fact, damn, is BugSnax easier than Doom? Nah, I think we're gonna, you know, we're gonna humiliate Doom that hard, you know. Doom Eternal's also pretty easy, especially if you're just focusing on the platinum, but it's way more. Is it harder than Doom? Yeah, you know what? You have to play the game on permadeath mode, which is the extra life mode. Even though it wasn't that difficult, but I think, you know what? I think it's like maybe like above. Let's see, like about you know, like there. There we go. I think that's fine. Drive Club, man. I absolutely love this game. This game had so much potential, dude. So much. This is a quite. Is it the quite? You know what? I'll put. No, where do I put this? It's a It's a casual game. It's a casual game. It's not Gran Turismo level of simulation, and it's not Need for Speed arcade. It's like sort of a balance. The reason why I say this game is like had so much potential is because look at Microsoft, for example, and Forza. Microsoft has Forza Motorsport, which is like a track racing game, and then we have Forza Horizon, which is like the open world, you know, the fun game, the better game in my opinion. I think Forza Horizon games are much better than the motorsport games. Anyway, the point is, what PlayStation could have done, they could have had Gran Turismo as the simulator track racing game, and then Drive Club, the Forza Horizon open world sort of racing game. But instead they decided, nah, let's just close the studio down. Everyone's gone to the Rapture. This is a walking simulator, just like Death Stranding. But this, where did it go? There you go. But this is pretty easy. In fact, there's no combat in this game, so it's actually just walking. In fact, it's probably one of the easiest games other than Telltale, because you obviously have to do certain things for certain trophies, but all you do is just walk. The only reason why I played it is because it was on PSN profiles or PlayStation profile. Not PlayStation profile. What the hell am I talking about? Fallout 4. I did not like Fallout 4. Whoa, pause. Hey, I'm not finished. I did not like Fallout 4 when I played it originally, but then I gave it a second chance, which is why I obviously have the platinum. Usually I don't like to play games or go for the platinum if I don't like it, but I actually decided, you know what, let me give this game a go. There's a reason why people like this game. Now I know people don't like Fallout 4 as much as Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and obviously with me playing Fallout 4, I didn't have my PS3 at the time, so obviously I couldn't go back to the old ones. Maybe now I can and see why people like the older games compared to this one. But because I came to the realization that people like Fallout 4, I decided, you know what, let me see why people like this game. But this game is, I would say it's up here, because there's that one trophy where you have to like build a settlement and you have to make everyone happy or something like that. That's a very infamous trophy with this game. But I like settlement buildings, I like base building, I like character creators, I like all these, you know, creative shit in games. So when that trophy popped, I didn't really think nothing of it. I wasn't like, holy shit, I got that trophy sort of thing. Because I just like base building, and oh boy, you should see my base in this game. Whew, the frame rate was dying. Maybe if I play it on PS5, it will, you know, stabilize. But on PS4, I built such a cool base that my PS4 was actually crying in the corner. This, the fuck is that? The hell is this? This is Foreclosed. I genuinely do not remember this game. I think I just played this game on PS Plus. I think this is when PS Plus, you know, like was renovated into like the one we have now with like the tiers and the, you know. So this game I played when they basically fully revamped PlayStation Plus, and I played this game. Pretty easy trophy. I genuinely cannot remember, so I'm just gonna put it there. So in fact, maybe like there. Fortnite. Now the only reason why I actually started Fortnite was way before obviously I started YouTube, is because I wanted V-Bucks, and obviously I discovered that by playing Fortnite Save the World. And by the way, the only way to earn trophies in Fortnite was to play Fortnite Save the World, which was the original Fortnite. So if you played Battle Royale, if you played Fortnite, Lego, and all that kind of other game modes that they added over the years and the last few months, there's no trophies tied towards it, which is kind of weird that they didn't add trophies. Do not add any more trophies. I like the 100%. I don't want to go back to Fortnite, but I'm just saying it's weird that they didn't add any trophies for like those other modes to incentivize people to play it more. But do not add more trophies to this game. I'm done. But because I was farming V-Bucks and earning my skins and buying all sorts of emotes, I basically made a big dent over the few years of playing Fortnite. And obviously when I started the YouTube channel, I was like, I'm pretty close to this platinum. I could be one of the first, if not the first one, to get the Fortnite platinum. Now obviously because I started, I didn't have like those early trophies, which is fine. But the trophies that I didn't earn in the video is obviously the ones most people already have, because they're easy. Because the reason why people can't get the trophy is because there's like 5 trophies. There's like 5 trophies, like kill or like build 500,000 structures and kill 10,000 Pacific monsters. So yeah, the last 5 or last 4 trophies is like brutal. So this is definitely gonna go into godlike. Oh yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look at the god tier, where Doom 2 is a very difficult game, but it's not time consuming. But Fortnite, it's actually a pretty easy game, but it's extremely time consuming. Ghost of Tsushima, I absolutely love this game. This is the PS4 version. I didn't do the PS5 version. I might do it before the new game comes out. It's not a difficult game. This is like in the leagues of Assassin's Creed, but it's maybe a bit more brain power. I'll put it like, actually that's perfect. In between Cyberpunk and Days Gone. I didn't do the multiplayer and I didn't do the Iki Island expansion. I need to do that before the new game comes out. Ghost Runner, I need to do the sequel to this game, but Ghost Runner is a cyberpunk sort of, speed running kind of game, and I like this game. I need to do the sequel to this game, but before I do the sequel, I want to do the DLC, but I don't know. Maybe I should just jump into the sequel. I have the sequel, but yes, Ghost Runner is not a difficult game. PSN profiles do rate this game like a 6 out of 10, but I don't think it's that difficult. I think it would be like maybe well, maybe not that. Yeah, you know what? It's about It's not that difficult, but it can be a bit of a challenge if you're not used to those kind of games. But I really enjoy that game to a point where I want to get the DLC and then obviously play the sequel. God of War. I keep mentioning God of War in my videos. If you watch my videos, I keep referencing God of War or Devil May Cry, and I have yet to play those games on this account. I've played all those games, God of War and Devil May Cry, but I didn't play it on this account, and I need to do it. But God of War 3, this one's God of War 3 remastered, and this one is actually pretty easy. God of War 2018, the reboot or the soft reboot, the continuation reboot. This obviously can be of a challenge. It can be up here if you put it on Give Me God of War, but I can't be bothered playing the game on the hardest difficulty. I feel like it ruins my experience, in my opinion. But I'll put it up here because move up. There we go. I'll put it over there because it can be a challenge, especially those goddamn Valkyrie fights. I love the Valkyries in those games, the designs and stuff like that. But good lord, those Valkyries are a pain, even on like the normal difficulty. In fact, I'll put this up here because the Valkyries alone on the normal difficulty. I'm not even saying like Give Me God of War. I'm talking about normal difficulty. God of War goes over there because God of War Ragnarok can probably sit over there, and yeah, that is God of War Ragnarok compared to 2018. Now God of War Ragnarok I do think is overall a better game than 2018. I just think 2018 had a better story, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not that complex to comprehend. I just think God of War Ragnarok, it felt like it needed like 3 games, but I think the reason why they said is because they didn't want to take 15 years to tell a story or something like that. Clearly, like clearly God of War Ragnarok should have been the 3rd game, and there should have been a game in between 2018 and Ragnarok. I don't know, I think it would have been cool, but I understand why they made Ragnarok the way they did is because games just take a long time to make, Gotham Knights, yeah! This game is something. This is definitely a game that exists. That it is indeed. I've yet to do the DLCs, but I'm considering whether to do it or not. But now, considering we are talking about DC games and, well, mediocre games, I do want to play the Suicide Squad game at some point, because I don't like when someone says, oh yeah, this game is pretty bad, never play it, and then I never get to have my own opinion. I like to play the game so I can actually formulate my own opinion. So at some point I do want to play a Suicide Squad game. I did see it come onto PS Plus. I probably will play it now, or not. I'll probably play it pretty soon. And obviously with Gotham Knights, it's not a bad game. It's not the worst game in the world. It's just if you want to compare it to the other DC games, especially considering Gotham Knights is about the Batman family, it's really hard to not compare it to the other Batman games, But I would put Gotham Knights about like the way the Deadpool game is, maybe a bit more challenging, like about there. I think that's pretty appropriate. Now, at the start of the video, I did say I'm going to remove all the duplicated like games, but GTA is going to be an exception. Let me explain. Because right here, we got GTA 3 and we have GTA 3. Then we have Vice City and Vice City, San Andreas and San Andreas. Now, obviously, most of you probably know why there's two versions, because one of them is the Definitive Edition and the other one is the original PS2 port that came out before the Definitive Edition came out. And the reason why there's two versions instead of just basing off the Definitive Edition is because the trophy lists are actually slightly different. Because GTA 3 in fact now that I'm thinking about it, I think GTA 3 is pretty much the same. GTA 3 is very basic. Obviously at the time it was groundbreaking. This was like, I mean, most games wouldn't exist if it wasn't GTA. I mean, I'm not saying it won't exist, but definitely would have taken a lot longer but if it wasn't for GTA. But GTA definitely started the 3D open world sort of thing, like go anywhere and do whatever you want. GTA 3 took me so long, especially the original PS2 version, is because the game is extremely buggy. But not just buggy in a case where it's just broken and just glitches out and the game just crash. Not like that. But there's a certain way to finish the game because certain missions won't appear because you started certain missions before a certain one, which can obviously interrupt your trophy progress. And I didn't play this game with a guide. I just thought GTA 3, it's an easy game. It has barely any mechanics compared to the future games. I'm gonna play this game blind, and I went on and I put in over 80 hours because I restarted the game like 3-4 times, not realizing that I needed to play the game a certain way. But anyway, that's GTA 3. For the most part, the trophy list is pretty much the same. But this is where it gets a bit more different. GTA Vice City, this one is GTA Vice City, the Definitive Edition. Now this one can be a bit of a pain, but it's not the hardest thing in the world. I probably would put it about like over here. In fact, maybe above Liberation. There we go, boom. But this one, which is the PS2 version of the game, this one I'll put further up. In fact, I'll put it in the same category, but because it's not that difficult, it just requires a lot more time. Because there's one specific trophy where you have to get more points. I think you have to reach like Godfather level, which can take so long, and the only way to get to Godfather level is by blowing stuff up. Now this one is GTA San Andreas, the Definitive Edition, and I think that the Definitive Edition this time around is way more time consuming because I think you have to collect more collectibles, whereas the PS2 version is more in line with like Bully, where even though, well, in fact that's better, where the PS2 version you could still collect all those collectibles, but you weren't required to collect all those collectibles for the PS2 version.
Like it says in the book, we are blessed and cursed. What fucking book?
GTA 5. This, I was so proud of getting GTA 5 originally back on like my PS3. GTA 5 might have been my first or second platinum ever. I could be wrong about that. I can't remember. But GTA 5 is not a long game. I mean, it's a long game, but it's not a difficult game. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think it pretty much goes, yeah.
I got a fucking family. Yeah, well, I got nothing. No one gives a fuck about me.
It's not a difficult game because there's a lot of collectibles and super time consuming. But the most time consuming part is probably going to be the online. But I'm someone who actually likes the online. Don't worry, don't blame me for buying shark cards because I never bought shark cards ever. Despite me playing like over 500 hours in GTA alone. Heavy Rain, this is another game from Quantic Dream. This pretty much goes like right here with the same thing. Same principle, you know, like you play the game once, you got your handful of trophies, and then you have to replay the game a few times. Only annoying thing is you can't skip cutscenes and what have you. This is Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I would put it here by Ghost of Tsushima. I do think Horizon Zero Dawn is pretty good. In fact, it's pretty decent. But it's okay. It's okay. I think, in fact, before I continue that conversation, this is Horizon Forbidden West. Now, I think it's pretty much in line with that. But I think Horizon Zero Dawn is better than the first game. I mean, it is the first game. But I think Horizon Zero Dawn is better than Horizon Forbidden West because Forbidden West, I don't know, I feel like that mystery of the first game of like, you know, why are there robot dinosaurs? Where am I? What is this? You know, it was gone. Where the first game, you had all those questions. So that sort of question, because it was answered near the end of the game, I didn't really feel attached to Forbidden West. I do think Forbidden West is very similar to like God of War and Doom Eternal, where the you know, with the game, the gameplay of the actual game is way better. Like the gameplay mechanics is way more polished, it's smoother. But I think the game that came before is better, you know, if that makes sense. Like the story was better, it was more engaging. Hotline Miami, I'll keep mixing up this game with Miami Hotline, Hotline Miami, like I keep mixing up the words. But this game, where the hell did it go? What the hell? Here it is. It's a pretty challenging game. It will probably go like there. In fact, is it the Casual Titan? Yeah, I think I'll put it here. Maybe it's like over here, but in fact, I'll probably put GTA into the Casual Titan. Because GTA, I mean 90 hours, even though I can put in 100 hours or 200 hours, because obviously I got YouTube, but most people don't have 50 hours or even 20 hours. So I think I'll change GTA, I'll put it up there. Infamous Second Son. Every time I think about Infamous, I'm always like, I need to play the first and second game, and then I always play other games. But yeah, I absolutely love Infamous. Infamous will probably go like about with like I mean Gotham Knights about around here, but I think it's easier than Gotham Knights. In fact, it's probably easier than Deadpool. And then this one is obviously Infamous First Light, which is a standalone DLC which takes place before the main game, but I still like it. I still prefer Infamous 2 as my favorite one, but I need to play Infamous 1 and 2 so I can actually see which one has aged the best, because in my mind Infamous 2 is the best one, but it's been years since I played Infamous 1 and 2, so maybe I need to go back and, you know, see for itself, see if it aged correctly, you know. Injustice, this is legendary. This is gonna be legendary. The only reason why Injustice is actually up here is because of one simple trophy, which is called Ultimate Battler. We have to like beat battle mode or something, like we have to like fight the entire character roster with one health bar near the impossible challenge or the max. I really do like this game, man. Injustice 2, this, because it's RNG and because of my luck, if you see my video, I got some immaculate bad luck. So yeah, I ended up spending like over like 300 hours on one trophy alone, which is the cat call trophy. And basically it requires you to do a certain move with Catwoman, which is pretty easy, but in order to unlock that move you have to like open certain boxes or complete certain objectives. I ended up spending so much time on the game, and obviously I made a video on it. If you want to check it out, you can go see for yourself. But because of my experience, it will go into the legendary category right here, because I spent over 300 hours on the game and I don't regret it, because I actually do enjoy Injustice. Maybe I'm saying that now, but obviously at the time spending 300 hours because, you know, I just wanted the game to end. But, you know, I do hope to see an Injustice 3 one day. I really do. Jak and Daxter, don't get confused. These are different games. This is Jak and Daxter, Jak 2 and Jak 3. The icons are identical. But Jak and Daxter, this is a, oh, didn't mean to do that. It's a pretty, in fact, it's like Astrobot like level. It's probably more difficult than Astrobot. It's not difficult, but I remember growing up and complaining about that, and Misty Island being all scary and spooky. But it's not a difficult game. It's very light-hearted and colorful, especially compared to Jak 2. And Jak 2, my god, they did not hold back, especially like with the checkpoints and stuff like that. So Jak 2, it's way more difficult compared to that. I would put it like, where would I put this? Where would Jak 2 go? Yeah, it will probably be slightly harder than Days Gone. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world. It's still in the casual category, but it's, if you want to put the two together, I think it's a bit more concentration compared to Days Gone, you know. Jak 3 was significantly easier than Jak 2, but it's not as easy as that, so it'll probably be about here as well. Just Cause 3, this is a pretty easy game, but obviously time consuming. I probably would put it like about at the back here somewhere. Pretty time consuming, but not too difficult. It's pretty a fun game, man. I did a video on it not too long ago, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. And in fact, Just Cause 4, I need to do the DLC. It's probably about the same as Just Cause 3. Knack, another platformer with an RNG trophy. This will probably go up like about like here. Not too difficult, it's just RNG from what I can remember. In fact, it might go a little bit higher, maybe like above Cyberpunk. Because yeah, LA Noire. I want Rockstar to make a sequel to this game, man. Oh man, like imagine a New York game, that'll be so sick. But this game is ahead of its time, man. But this game, I would gladly do it again. This is the PS4 version of the game, and I highly recommend. I know a lot of people will probably just pull up a guide and play and just find the correct answers, but I highly recommend just playing it without the guide. It just feels way more rewarding when you like get a case done correctly and you didn't get any guidance or whatever. But I'll put it up here. Lollipop Chainsaw. This is the PS3 version of the game. I know they did that remaster. Not too difficult. I think it's probably in line with like the Deadpool game. It's like a hack and slash. Mafia. The new Mafia game just came out. No, it didn't come out. It was announced. The new game was announced, Mafia the Old Country, which makes me want to do all the Mafia games. Now this is Mafia 1. It wasn't that difficult. Even the infamous race, I someone who likes racing games, so I didn't find the infamous race that scary or that difficult. But yeah, this game, when as judging it myself, it is challenging, but it's not the hardest thing in the world. But I do want to do Mafia 2 and 3 to prepare myself for the new one. Where do I put this though? Maybe by Ale no, like there. I think that's appropriate. Maneater, this is a collectathon game. This I need to do the collectibles still, not the collectibles, the DLC for this game. This is a nice brain dead game to like shut your brain off and just collect a bunch of bullshit. And it's fun. Like it's one of those games. Well, I don't really know how to describe this game. You play as a shark that goes around eating people, and you evolve over time basically. But I'll put it about the Maquette. This is a puzzle game, and I genuinely cannot remember this game. This will probably go over here. It's a puzzle game about like perspective and size and stuff like that. Not too difficult. Marvel Avengers. Good God, this game was a game for certain. It's definitely harder than, not hard, difficult. It's just time consuming compared to Gotham Knights. If you want to compare a superhero to a superhero, and mediocre to mediocre. The Battle of Mid. It's like, yeah, it's like about there. Because it's time consuming and the gameplay is really not that fun. It's really not that fun. Guardians of the Galaxy, man. What a great game. This is really easy. Like, there's a lot of collectibles, but it's pretty easy. In fact, on your first playthrough, you should be about 80% done with the trophies. It's very easy. This game is what Avengers should have been. Just a single player campaign, nothing too long. And it's pretty fine. The combat is also serviceable. It gets a bit repetitive near the end, but because the story carries it so well that you don't really mind the combat. The 2018 Spider-Man. This is easily one of the easiest games. I'll probably put it just above. In fact, I think it's about here. Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate. Spider-Man Miles Morales is probably even easier than Spider-Man 1 because it's a smaller bite size of a game. Spider-Man 2, also another game, for some reason just made people switch up. Spider-Man 2 is such a weird game because I love this game, but people for some reason are switching up on this game like it's the worst game ever made. Like, you can't be serious, dude. Like, people are complaining that the story and the pacing, and I mean, I understand that there's a lot of like things that they did in this game that I do agree with, but it's like the way people complain about Spider-Man 2 as if it's in the same league as, you know, Avengers or Gotham Knights or the Suicide Squad. It's like, really? You're gonna insult the game that hard? Relax. So Marvel vs. Capcom. Now, even though the one I played is called Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, but yeah, this game is obviously going into godlike for obvious reasons. If you haven't seen my video, I made it like recently. Pretty pretty brutal to say the least. Easily one of the hardest Marvel games like ever, because as we just saw now, most of the Marvel and most of the superhero games are pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward and easy. But Marvel vs. Capcom, well, Capcom is probably the reason why the game is as hard as it is. Minecraft, one of the easiest games to play. Again, I'm not gonna worry about the DLC because the DLC is a massive rabbit hole to go down into. But Minecraft is a pretty easy game to play. Most 5-year-olds can beat the Ender Dragon, which if you can beat the Ender Dragon, basically you have the platinum, aside from like a few miscellaneous trophies like baking a cake or whatever. So yeah, Minecraft is probably like about BugSnax level of difficulty, and there's a lot of games casual now that I'm looking at it, which is fine. Murder's Edge, do you know what? We just spoke about casual because Murder's Edge goes over here, because Murder's Edge, the first one, love this game so much. But yeah, but Murder's Edge goes into a quiet titan because this game is also one of those runner, speed running kind of games like Ghost Runner, but it's way more brutal with the mechanics and way more time sensitive when it comes to like the time trials and stuff like that. I want another game, man. I just want another game. But guess what? We got another game. Murder's Edge Catalyst. Well, Catalyst not that difficult like the first game, but Catalyst, they improved a lot on the first game, but the only thing that I didn't like about Catalyst is they decided to do an open world game, which is fine, you know, for replayability and exploration sort of things. But the reason what made the first game better, it was level based. Unfortunately, you cannot get Murder's Edge's platinum anymore because the servers are now, well, dead. So, but I would put Murder's Edge about I mean, is it as hard as... I mean, it's not as hard as Ghost Runner. At least not this one. But it's probably about... Yeah. About Jak 2. In fact, Jak 2 is probably harder. So it's about... yeah, it's probably like Horizon. But not... Yeah, I think it's about there. Because there is like collectibles. Because, you know, it's open world and whatever. But yeah, I think that's pretty valid. Mortal Kombat X. Yes, I need to play all the Mortal Kombat games. I don't think there's a lot of them. But MKX, this can be challenging. Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, is a very good series to tackle fighting games. Because I know a lot of people want to play fighting games. But you got Street Fighter, which is like super intimidating for new games, for new players. And then you got Tekken, which is pretty easy. I think Mortal Kombat is a good balance. I'll put it behind like Cyberpunk. Mortal Kombat 11. I like Mortal Kombat. I grew up playing a lot of Mortal Kombat, and I know what you're thinking. So why don't you have MK1? Where's MK9? You know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, MK11, I think it is easier than MKX. I think the only one trophy, which is the tutorial trophy, which you have to like perform a specific tutorial, like combo or whatever. That can be a bit of a challenge if you're not used to fighting games. So I'll put it over there. In fact, I'll just change it like that. But I think that's pretty appropriate. Mayo, yeah, this is a beginner game. This is one of those tappy games. I just did the one game, and that's the only like tap kind of game that I have. And I don't care about the other games. I don't care about bloating up my trophy list with all those dog shit things. I mean, look, if you like those things, then good on you. Have fun. Here we go. Here's my Need for Speed collection. Let's go. I'm really proud of this collection. I love Need for Speed. If you didn't know, I kind of mentioned. I think my camera always moves, man. But anyway, Need for Speed. This is Hot Pursuit. This is the remastered one. I think it just came on PS Plus the other day. But this is, it can be a grindy one and pretty tedious. I did get the full 100%, but it's pretty bare bones when it comes to the mechanics. So I'm just gonna put it like, where are we putting this? Maybe like there. There. Yeah, well, there. There. Yeah. Need for Speed 2015. Or it's just called Need for Speed, but because it came out in 2015, people just dub it as Need for Speed 2015. Like Doom 2016, it's called Doom, but because it came out in that year, people just call it Doom 2016. But yeah, Doom, Need for Speed is also a pretty easy game. In fact, I'll put it up here, like right there. It's very easy. If you're not looking at the DLC, it's stupid easy. Like, I'm not like insulting the game, it's ridiculously easy. However, I say DLC on purpose because there's like a DLC where they made, for some reason, they made the game exceptionally hard. Like, the base game is like in this category. If you want to do the DLC, it's up there. It's up there. And I want to do it. I'm gonna do it. Need for Speed Payback, it's slightly better than Hot Pursuit. In fact, it's probably like about a year. Because there's more collectibles and more stuff. And Need for Speed Heat, which I think is the best Need for Speed game in recent years. Because they basically took the formula from Need for Speed 2015 and they took what they learned from Need for Speed Payback and they applied it to this game, and this game is just so much better. But it's not that difficult either way. Again, it's Need for Speed. I think that's a pretty appropriate spot either way. I kind of just placed it there by accident, but I think that's pretty appropriate. Maybe Payback and this can swap. I think it's like that. Because Payback has like the off-roading stuff. I didn't really like the off-roading. Heat has off-roading, but it's not as annoying and as much as Payback. But then we have Need for Speed Unbound, the latest Need for Speed as the recording of this video. I think Need for Speed Unbound is pretty much on par with Need for Speed Heat. Nier Automata. Not really my kind of game, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's actually pretty easy. It will probably be up here in terms of difficulty, like maybe about there. But the game itself can be pretty easy because you can actually buy trophies in this game. But yeah, the reason why I actually bought this game is because so much people were talking about it when it came out. And I was like, maybe I should get it. There's a reason why people like the game. Let me try and buy it. And it was on sale. And I bought it, and you know, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I'm not going all crazy over it, but it is pretty cool. Obviously the character model is also pretty cool. Ratchet and Clank, I'm putting this one over here by, in fact, it's slightly harder than, boom, like that. In fact, it's probably like here, maybe here. So this is Ratchet and Clank, the 2016 remake. I really want to do all the Ratchet and Clank games, man. And speaking of more Ratchet and Clanks, we got, this is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. But yeah, so this Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is, I keep wanting to say Rift Apart, but Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is pretty much on par with the 2016 game. It might be easier because it's slightly shorter, I think. It's like 10 hours or 12 hours, which is fine. It's nothing too bad. But it's around the same ballpark in terms of difficulty. Red Dead Redemption 2, you gosh darn tootin'. We going straight up into goddamn gosh darn legendary. Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh man, what can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? It's a game that exists by Rockstar Games. Time consuming. Plays Arthur Morgan.
I got some jelly beans. You like jelly beans?
He's pretty cool. Dutch Vandalin, also pretty cool. He has a plan. He also has faith. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, you guys know about this game. I don't need to yap about it all the time, but if somehow the Lord gave me a second chance to do this game, I would do it all over again. I would, man. This game can take up to like 200, 300 hours depending on how slow or fast you play it. But I would do it again, man. I don't know why Rockstar hasn't made a PS5, like a native PS5 version with a new trophy list. This is Resident Evil 2, the remake, and yes, I can say this once again, I can platinum. I want to platinum all the Resident Evil games at some point. I just played the games, obviously, back in the day, like Resident Evil 4, 5, and so on. You know, but I love this game, man. I would happily do it all over again. But where would this game sit in the difficulty? Because it's not that difficult. It's a good balance. I think it goes over there.
Commitment, honesty, integrity, these are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella.
Resident Evil 3 Remake, a lot of people hate it because they cut a lot of the gameplay out of the original game. Like I think the like sure, it was disappointing that they cut out some locations, but at the time I bought Resident Evil 2 and 3, the bundle pack. So I pretty much played the two games back to back. It wasn't too bad because I felt like I was playing a lot of Resident Evil at the time. But now that I look back, it does suck that they removed it. But Resident Evil 3 is probably easier than... It probably goes there. It's easier than RE2. This is... Wait, what is this? Oh, this is Rogue Company. Damn. Yeah, this game is... I enjoyed this game for what it was. Developers just didn't support it. I guess there just wasn't enough players, so, you know, developers can't exactly support something that 5 people are playing, you know, so. But this game is pretty easy. I think you have to, like, win 100 games, online games, so I'll probably put it over there, like, maybe over there. Yeah, you know, there, yeah, I think that's fine. Saints Row, the saddest franchise that ever existed, man. This series deserves so much more, man. Saints Row died on the street corner, man. That just sucks at what happened to this franchise, man. Saints Row the 3rd is probably the best Saints Row game to platinum. Now, listen to my words carefully. It's the best Saints Row game to platinum. It's not the best Saints Row game. Saints Row 2 is the best game. But there's no trophies tied towards Saints Row 2, so you can't put it in this list. And if Saints Row 2 did have a platinum, I would have had the platinum a long time, even before YouTube. But Saints Row the 3rd, it's a pretty good game. It's in par with like GTA or Assassin's Creed, like trophy list. It's pretty easy, nothing too difficult. In fact, by the time you get near the end of the game, you're kind of like immortal because of like the skill points or whatever. So it's a pretty easy game. In fact, it's probably so easy that it's like easier. It's about there actually. And Saints Row 4 is pretty much on par with that. I mean, what can I say about Saints Row 4? I mean, you fight an alien invasion. Then they blow up Earth, but you're also the president. Like, it's like, what happened to being a gangster? How did the gangster become a Anyway, the point is, Saints Row 4 is a fun game, as is. It's not a fun Saints Row game. It's a fun game, but not a fun Saints Row game. And this is the Saints Row that pushed Volition to the curb and got stomped. And it sucks because, not because the game itself sucks, because it sucks what happened with the story. And I think it goes probably like a year because it's probably the easiest game to platinum. I don't know why you would platinum the game, but I did it because YouTube. But yeah, this game apparently originally wasn't supposed to be the one we got, which apparently Volition wanted to make this reboot in line with Saints Row 2 with the original characters like Johnny Gat and Shandy and Pierce and obviously the boss, the main guy. But apparently some higher ups was like, we don't want that, the kids don't want that, we want Fortnite bullshit. And obviously I don't hate Fortnite, but it's like, not every single game needs to be goddamn Fortnite. Not every single game needs to have dancing emotes. Like, god damn it, man. We're so close to greatness. It just sucks that Saints Row, I'm not saying Saints Row would have been on the heights of GTA, but it could be, you know, like GTA doesn't come out every year. So while we wait for a GTA game, hey, let's play some Saints Row, you know? Shadow of the Colossus. I love this game. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have platinum the game. But yeah, I'm so glad that they did a remake of this game. And yeah, I got the platinum. This is it right here, this little dude, which is pretty cool. And yeah, there's not really much I can say about the game besides, like, you know, you fight Colossus. And if you haven't played it, if you like big spectacle monsters and you're climbing up their backs and stuff like that, then Shadow of the Colossus is for you. But it's not a difficult game, but it can be a bit disorientating at first, definitely. But I'll put it over there. In fact, I'll put it like by Doom Eternal, like around there. SpongeBob. I forget which one this is. This is like a platformer SpongeBob game. Part of me kind of wants to do all the SpongeBob games for some reason. There's not too much of them. But yeah, yeah, this is like pretty easy. It's like around there. Spyro the Dragon. This is also really easy. This is, in fact, I'll probably put all these games like in this category, like that, like that. Because they're easy. Spyro is not a difficult series, especially when you compare it to like Crash Bandicoot. They're pretty easy, fun, classic platformers. Again, they can be a bit frustrating at times, but I think the frustration more comes down to like, I just want to get this game done. Stray, another easy platformer, which I think the only one trophy, which is like a speedrun trophy, which makes this probably the hardest one in this tier, but it's still a relatively easy game. If you haven't played Stray, do yourself a favor, do me also a favor. Goddamn part, you will not be disappointed. Even if you're not into cats, I prefer dogs over cats, but I love that game. It's pretty cool. Also, a lot of people are saying like, oh man, we should get like Stray, but a dog version where you play as a dog. Where were you, huh? Like 20 years ago, where were you, huh? There's a game called Dog's Life, the one of the greatest dog games of all time. I want to remaster it. Street Fighter. Do I even need to talk about Street Fighter 4, man? Because this goes into God tier. Easily. Do you know what's a really good way to prove how difficult this game is? Because anyone can play this, can get the platinum. Just practice and practice and eventually you will get it, right? Look at all the trophy hunter content creations, man. Now, I'm not calling out anyone. I'm not saying that. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm better. But look at all the Crash Bandicoot videos. Look at all the Super Meat Boy, Wolfenstein videos. I'm not saying those games are easy. You are willing to push yourself to learn and master these or those games, but fighting games, whoa, that's where you draw the line. I don't buy it. I think a lot of people are so intimidated by fighting games that they just avoid it completely. But Street Fighter 5, since it's on the subject, it also goes up there in the God tier. But Street Fighter 5, when I played it, the service was definitely dying because there was less and less players, and I kept running into the same like players. And also Street Fighter 6 was already out when I played Street Fighter 5, so most of the people who are playing Street Fighter 5 moved on. They went to Street Fighter 6, so the people that I was playing against in Street Fighter 5 were either people that didn't have Street Fighter 6, they were either like me trying to get the platinum to Street Fighter 5, or they don't really like Street Fighter 6 and they just prefer the gameplay of Street Fighter 5. So anyway, Street Fighter 6, comparing that to comparing 4, 5 and 6, yeah, Street Fighter 6 is challenging, but it probably falls in this category. The only reason why I say that is because of the tournament trophies. I think it fits perfectly here. I mean, if you're really good at the game, it will probably be like at the bottom over here, but I think for my personal experience, it will be here at the back of this list. So obviously the more games get added, this will just get pushed further and further to the back, but it will stay in this category in my opinion. Subnautica. This game is a pretty easy game as well. It can be pretty scary and intimidating because obviously underwater sea creatures and underwater darkness can be pretty scary, but I highly recommend if you like survival games and just something different. This game, it kind of just changes the formula of a survival game, and I would put it up here. I'll put it up like by Cyberpunk. Maybe not, it's not difficult, but it depends on how you take in underwater alien planet darkness. It can be pretty scary and intimidating, so I think I'll put it over there. Syphon Filter. This is a PS1 game. I should probably complete everything in Syphon Filter, maybe like a year. It's a pretty basic standard game. It was a PlayStation 1 game, so it's pretty, the hardest thing might be like the controls. Tabletop Racing. This is also a game, I think most people that have the platinum to this game are people who played it on PS Plus, me included. I want to do the DLC so I can get the full 100%, but the platinum itself, pretty easy. Like, in fact, it's probably one of the easiest racing games. Very basic. I think I'll put it over there. Tales of the Borderlands. This is a Telltale game. it goes over there. You just have to play the game and you'll get the platinum. This is the only Borderlands game I played. Let me know if I should play the Borderlands games. I never really got into it. Tekken, another one of the easiest fighting games to play through. It's still a bit of a challenge, but it's not that difficult. I want to do all the Tekken games now that I got all the Street Fighter games done. I want to do all the Tekken games at some point, but because Tekken is so easy, I don't know if I want to do each game, you know, in one video or give each video or give each game its own video. So I don't know. I need to decide when I'm ready to take on the Tekken games, you know. The crew 1 can go up there. It kind of sucks because the servers are dead and it's an online game, so you literally have no access to the game. There's no offline mode, and that's just such a Ubisoft thing to do. Like, jeez. But yeah, I'm pretty happy that I got the platinum. I'm just obviously not happy that the game is dead because I can't hop onto the game and just experience it, you know. The crew 2, which is this one right here, which is obviously significantly easier. I think it will go like about there. In fact, yeah, it will go there. The crew 2, they did confirm that they will do an offline mode when the time comes. So I think that's pretty cool. It just sucks that they decided to do that because they got a lot of backlash because of the crew 1. The Last Guardian, this game can be pretty finicky, man. I'm gonna put it up here because the AI, which I think is pretty cool and pretty impressive, with like the cat, dog, bird thing, Trico, which is the name of this beast, moves and interacts very realistically, and it's pretty impressive what they did. It's just, it comes very frustrating when you're doing those damn time trials, and that's why it's in this category, because the time trials you have to shout Trico, and then, you know, you have to do that in order to call Trico over here multiple times so you can actually do the thing that you want to do.
You're supposed to take her to the fireflies and walk away.
How am I gonna word this without getting like shouted at? Because how dare you like The Last of Us Part 2? You're supposed to hate it because everyone else also hates it. I like The Last of Us Part 2. I know, shocker. But I like The Last of Us Part 2. Again, story. I don't like everyone else. But it's not the worst thing in the world. People are going on like it's like Naughty Dog actually. I can't spoil. You know, it's so hard for me not to spoil just in case people want to play it. And also the TV show is coming up. The big twist, the main reason for this game, that should have been like maybe at the end of the game or like the halfway point. So in that way, we kind of feel like, oh damn, like they were not on good terms, and that will be like, I think that pacing would have been much better. It's just the story we got was completely fine, but the way they told it, I think I didn't really like it. But other than that, the gameplay, the graphics, the visual, the sound design, everything I like, man.
Hands in the air, I shoot this one too.
Don't you do it, Ellie. Get out of here.
Stand up, now!
Don't you fucking dare.
Shut the fuck up!
Until Dawn, this is the original Until Dawn, the PS4 version, not the remake. I think I'll put it here by like the choice-based games because it's pretty similar. Play the game once, you got a few trophies, now you have to play certain chapters or play the whole game again to choose different outcomes or whatever. It's pretty basic. Oh, you must find all the totems. These are like collectibles, but they're not too difficult. The Witcher. Oh man, I can talk for the next hour about The Witcher, man. This game is so good. I'll put it up here. I'll put it in Legendary because I can, and I will, and I cannot wait for The Witcher. Gosh darn doodly do, man. Oh man, Witcher 4 is gonna consume my soul. And CD Projekt Red, if the game is so technically advanced for the PS5, just put it on PlayStation 6. Even if the PS6 is like 10 years from now, okay, maybe not that long, but like, even if the PS6 is like coming out in 2 years or 3 years time, and the game is ready by next year, I will somehow magically get a high-end PC and play it like that. For a console experience, and obviously because my channel is mainly focusing on PlayStation trophies, obviously I want to play the PS5 version or the PS6 version or whatever version it comes out on to get the platinum. Then that's how I would obviously want to play it, because I said the same thing with Cyberpunk. I was like, I didn't have a PS5 at the time, but I was like, this game must not come out on PS4, man. I would rather have the game pushed to its absolute limits and be on PS5. But the game came out, I still bought it on PS4, and obviously we saw how it performed. But The Witcher 3, man, I played this game so much times, like so much times. As long as it is, I played it so much times, and I will do it all over again. The Witness, this game is as cute and cuddly as it can be. Is a pretty challenging game, especially the last challenge where It's a challenge. I mean, it's a puzzle game where the entire game, all the puzzles are set. So basically, you can Google and you can just find the solutions pretty quickly, and you can fly through the entire game. One of the trophies that will probably stop you from getting the platinum, or will stop you or slow you down, should I say, because it's not a difficult game, but it will slow you down, is because the challenge that you need to do is randomized. So every time you start the challenge will, well, begin. But then if you fail the challenge in a certain time frame, because it's a time based, of course it is. So if you fail the challenge, then you have to go back and start the challenge from over, but the challenge will be completely brand new. It won't be set, it won't be the same pattern. So you have to just know how the game works in order to get the platinum, and that is why I'll put it up here, because of that one lost trophy. Tomb Raider. I love my Tomb Raiders, and I know I got a lot of comments and messages saying I need to play the original games, and trust me, I will. But anyway, this is Tomb Raider Legend. Pretty easy game. So there's a PS5 version of the game, this is the PS3 version, and it's pretty easy. It's probably like about Blaze of Time. This has to be Anniversary. Yeah, this is Tomb Raider Anniversary, which is slightly harder because of like the puzzles, and it's Tomb Raider Anniversary was the original remake of the first game. Tomb Raider Underworld is probably the easiest one, and it's probably like in line with like, it's probably easier than Assassin's Creed, because it felt very incomplete. Like the story was shorter, the game, the actual trophies was so much shorter. The collectibles were just a bunch of random things. I don't know what they were. They were just random things that you have to collect, where in the other two previous games it was actual artifacts that you could see. Then we got Tomb Raider the reboot game. This is the 2013 reboot. I do like this game. Obviously they were clearly inspired by like Uncharted in the more realism, like, you know. The only reason why I'm gonna put this game in this category is because of the multiplayer trophies, which is very obnoxious and stops a lot of people from getting the platinum. But otherwise, other than the multiplayer trophies, it's a pretty easy game. But the multiplayer trophies exist, and you kind of have to boost it, because I mean, who's gonna? I don't know anyone who says, yeah, I'm gonna buy Tomb Raider so I can play multiplayer. So the multiplayer is pretty dead, so you're gonna have to find someone to boost with you. Tomb Raider. So this is Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. This one is probably this one doesn't have any multiplayer, but it can be pretty time consuming. But I'll put it in the casual ranking, because it's not that difficult. It's, in fact, it is in line with like the God of War game. In terms of like backtracking and getting collectibles, and while first finishing the game, then you can backtrack, because now you have an equipment to break down a wall or something, that sort of thing. I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider had a very strong opening. Like the game starts, I like, holy shit, we in, let's get in. But then it kind of lost me when, you know, when the actual story started, and I was like, okay. And then, you know, I kind of forgot what it was about. But I do like, out of the three new games, I think the character model of Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, is probably the best one. Trackmania, this is the, I think I'll put it in godlike. PSN profile says it's gonna take you 90 hours. It actually took me like 92 hours. So I was pretty on the ball with, you know, how long it took me. I actually do like Trackmania games, man. And there's more Trackmania games. It's not just Trackmania Turbo and Trackmania, the 2020 new one. There's like Trackmania Canyon. There's a bunch of ones. So I would be cool to have all those ones come to console, because I think those are all on PC at some point. Okay, so we spoke about Tomb Raider. Let's talk about Uncharted. Uncharted, it's easily gonna go up here with the Tomb Raider series. In fact, I'll put Uncharted 1. This is Uncharted 1. Just beyond God of War. I want to get the 100% where I complete the game on Brutal, but I think I'm gonna first finish the Tomb Raider games, and then we can focus on Uncharted. I think that's pretty fair, and I think all the other games are pretty similar, so I'm just gonna plop it in there, because Uncharted 1, 2 and 3, very similar trophies. Uncharted 4 can go like back here, because Uncharted 4 can be challenging, but I think you have to finish the game in like 6 hours or something like that. There was also another speedrunning trophy, which is annoying, because it's so like, why would you have a speedrunning trophy in such a game like that, where you just want to take your time and look at the visuals? Because my god, this game came out in 2016 and this game still holds up, man. You can say what you want about Naughty Dog, but whew, their games look really beautiful, man. It ages really well, graphically speaking. Uncharted The Lost Legacy. This is probably easier than Tomb Raider. Let's put about The Last of Us. In fact, Uncharted is probably also here about The Last one. Yeah, I think it's like that. In fact, that means this will probably be easier. This will probably be like behind Doom, like that. I think that's perfect. So Doom, no. So Uncharted The Lost Legacy. I would love to see Uncharted Lost Legacy 2. like a sequel to that, even if it's the same sort of size, like a, you know, like a 15-20 hour game. It doesn't have to be like a 50-hour game. I would like to play as Chloe again. That would be cool, like Chloe and Sam or something like that. That would be so cool to bring them back, because, you know, Uncharted 4, without spoilers, it ends in a pretty good way. But to continue the series, let's bring in Chloe. I think she's pretty cool. So this is the Lost Legacy, and this is the Thieves Collection. So I think I'll probably put this like above, so it probably goes here. The only reason why I included this one is because the trophy list is slightly different on the PS4 and the Lost Legacy on PS4. Two separate trophy lists. This version, the collection, Uncharted 4 and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, is under one trophy list. There's only one platinum for this, so the trophy list is slightly different, but it's still relatively easy nonetheless. Wait, what is this? This is Until Dawn. What the hell is this? Oh, this is Until Dawn. So you put that there, and this is the medium. Oh man, I just messed up the entire video, did I? No. Anyway, so Until Dawn goes there as a thing, yep. And then the medium, also pretty easy. Bloober Team is the people who made the Silent Hill remake, and I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna do another Silent Hill remake, or maybe a Silent Hill original project, who knows. But the medium was kind of okay, kind of forgettable. Cool thing with like the double screen thing, rendering two worlds at once, but it was kind of forgettable, I'm gonna be completely honest. This game, it was okay. I had PS Plus, I decided to mess around with this game. Pretty easy game, just a story game with a cool art style, nothing too crazy. Watch Dogs 2, this will probably go like near like GTA. I'll probably put Watch Dogs 2 around here, if I remember correctly. It's not too difficult. I did the full 100% at the time. I still have to do Watch Dogs 1. I played Watch Dogs 1 back in 2014, 2013, whenever the game came out. But I didn't play it on this account, and I probably should, because I do have over here Watch Dogs Legion as well. Watch Dogs Legion was, my god, this game was unbelievably boring, man. Holy. Like, I'll probably would put it around here. But the Saints Row games, I need to get the DLC. There's one trophy in the DLC that I need to get, which will probably put the game up here with the DLC, but because I don't have it, I'll leave it down here. Because that trophy is a permadeath mode. So if you die, you have to choose a new character or start from over or whatever. I need to get into it so I can actually explain it properly. But I do know it's a permadeath mode. But anyway, but that is all the games rated. But now I kind of want to just organize this, and then we can take it from there. After spending the next hour trying to figure out and rearrange this tier list, this, ladies and gentlemen, is my definitive answer to my question that stands. So there we go, all my platinum trophies ranked from the easiest to the hardest. And the question I had at the start of the video, what is the hardest game I've platinumed so far, is now pretty obvious. So out of all 150 platinums I've obtained, here's the top 5 games I'm most proud of, and is also the hardest games I've ever done so far. Because coming in at number 5 is Fortnite. And then coming in at number 4 is Doom 2. Street Fighter 5 takes the number 3 spot. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom comes in at number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, the hardest game I've ever platinumed so far is Ultra Street Fighter 4. And out of this entire list, nothing comes remotely close. Now you can pause the screen and take a look at the tier list more cleanly, or you can scroll down to the description of the video where I'll give a more detailed list on all the games I've achieved, from easiest to the hardest. And if you want to see more content from me, just click on the logo on screen now.